Welcome back. Today we're going to dive into this 20-acre hunting property. We're starting from scratch. So this has been raw land for decades. Used to be farmed for potatoes, maybe hay ground before that, CRP for decades up until recent years. So it's pretty much raw grassland that's got trees growing in it. We got a nice big grove here. Pond that's been filled in over time, and we've got a lot of good habitat that surrounds this property. So today we're going to dive into how we're going to start laying out this property for this first fall. We got lots of crazy ideas. We want to try so many things out here and make the most out of 20 acres. So we're going to really jam pack lots of different things into this property. But this first fall is mainly to set it up so we can attract deer and really attract some good buck movement through here this first fall. Really get an idea how they're moving. Add some habitat along the way, but really the main focus is get the attraction here quickly. We're going to make a lot of tweaks after this first fall and seeing how the deer use it. Also later in this video, we're going to dive into the first photo dump of the trail camera we've got out here. We've had it out for about a month since we've owned the property, and we're just getting first bit of intel of what deer live here, and we'll share that with you at the end. So let's dive in. We are gonna go on the land right away. We're just gonna start laying out some features that we're gonna start thinking about putting in. Really, this year we're gonna do a couple of food plots, more targeted to like kill plots in areas where we know they kind of already travel, and then one larger destination food source. It's going to be kind of in the middle of the grasslands, so that will most likely change in its location, how it's laid out. So I'm not really too worried about getting some food in here, but we're going to try to get a chunk of food in here this year yet, and we're gonna go to the land, start marking that out, and I'll explain to you some more details as we dive in. Okay, we are on the north end of the property. We're just on the west side of the main woodlot that's on the property here. It's kind of like a corner right here of where the adjoining habitat is. There's a big row of trees heading that way. Take a look. So we've got this huge row of trees here, and in the back there's a huge slough that's on the neighbors, and then another giant row of trees, and then there's a little field here, row crops, and then that goes to a bunch of wetlands, ponds, more habitat, and that kind of just butts up right to here. Now in this little corner there's naturally a deer trail right in here that we saw kind of in winter when we first looked at the property. And I've got a trail camera set up here, and we are going to check that here in just a second. We'll share those photos with you here soon. But in this spot, you know, we're not super far. We can make some decent access to get somewhat close to this corner and stay off of the edge. And I think we're going to make it kind of like an observation stand. But this corner will also be a small kill plot. So we'll be able to bow hunt or muzzleload hunt right here. But really, I think it's going to make for a nice easy in and out access just to test it out, start learning the property, easy to get in and out there. We just got to make the trail and get a stand somewhere in here. So first we'll find a stand to set it up, and that'll dictate kind of where the food plot's going to go. But in this video we'll kind of show that this is a focal point on where we want the layout of that food plot to be, somewhere in here. Just the final design will be dictated on where we can put the deer stand and how we're going to access. But we know this is going to be a good little pinch area in here just because of the adjoining habitat. You got this inside corner. It's really going to be kind of a nifty little spot to hunt this fall. So let's check this camera and then we'll go over to that next food plot. Alright, we'll get this fired back up. We've got the SD card. Share with you here shortly. We'll get this rock and rolling again. I guess some kind of critter got on that antenna, knocked it down. Let's go check out the next spot. We're not quite in the center of the property, but we're not too far off. So as you can see, that direction, that's kind of the northwest corner. And then you go that way, that's the southwest corner. So we've got a group of trees coming off of the woodlot in the pond heading to the west. And then we have this gap of a field opening here, and then it goes to this big finger of trees that's grown up. And that reconnects into the main block of woods on the property. But behind me here is kind of the main field opening on this 10 to 12 acres, and we're gonna have the big destination food source tucked back in here somewhere. Maybe we'll hang it in close, but we're gonna have it kind of somewhat centrally located and maybe closer to the west end. Eventually, that's probably going to be more habitat that's going to be for bedding and holding deer on the west side of the property. Like, we even might make, 5 to 7 acres of habitat on the west end there to hold more deer as long as we can. But this will kind of connect the northwest corner and it'll kind of be in line to connect the pond area and this other kill plot we're gonna go show you that we're gonna put in. It's a cool spot. So a lot of work to do out here, but this is a fun little spot to develop over the next couple years. We got lots of stuff we want to do out here for habitat, but it's pretty isolated. Even in the winter, you couldn't see the house from where we're sitting right now. So I think it's actually going to be a really good spot to have a nice big destination food source that's this close to a residence. We have lots of deer that hang out here in the winter, especially a couple miles away. So having a large food source, we might even be able to hold a couple deer into the winter, and maybe we'll find a shed this next spring. So that would be epic if we can do that. So that's what we're shooting for. Destination food source. Don't know if we want to be able to hunt it yet. At least be able to observe it. So we'll observe it probably from a stand that's going to be tucked behind these trees somewhere closer to the house, so we are not disturbing much when we get in and out of that stand. Basically, it'll be really all the theme of a lot of the setups this year is going to be great access, quick access, and we're going to make it so it's more of observations. That's where it's going to play into a really awesome small acre hunting property in the near future. It might even be really good this fall, so we'll see. Now we're gonna head over towards the pond. See over there. So we are about 60 to 80 yards from the pond that's here. We're on closer to the south edge of the property, still on this woodlot. Now, behind the camera here, we have that finger of trees that comes out from the pond, then goes out to where that destination food source is going to go. Same with over here. You can see the big finger of trees there. We were on the other side of that with that corner food plot. And that row of trees is going to kind of funnel right into the destination food source. It's going to be out behind us there. Now here we have some pine trees. Got a lot of good cover. And so we're going to actually make a good little access trail that's going to come to not quite the pond, but it's going to come up close here. We're going to put in the food plot somewhere, either on this edge, or we might even tuck one in here just a little bit, kind of on the corner of the pond. So we're going to intercept kind of the natural movement that the deer were using, from what we could tell from the fall and winter of last year. The winter trails and stuff kind of came right through the inside of the pond, and so there's a nice chunk of woods that connects to more wetlands across the highway here that we're on. So this will be kind of tucked closer to the house, not quite to the pond. That stand's gonna set up so we're kind of right on this edge. It's gonna be even maybe in some of these spruce that are behind us. You can't really see them there, or maybe even one of these pines back in here. And so again, it's a good observation point for the whole property. But we're going to be in this habitat that's connecting water, other habitat. We're going to have a little food source right here that's going to attract deer movement already. And it's going to be really easy to get in and out. So that's what we're doing. So the final layout in here will just kind of be dictated again by where we can put a stand in this location. Really, if we can avoid cutting through too much of this woods to get in here, we'll probably shove it closer to the house. But we still want to be kind of in the ballpark of that pond, so we got that. It's kind of like an internal corner in the woods where you have kind of the fields coming together, woodlots coming together in a pond. So, and it is thick. Again, same like over there. You can't see the house, the shed, or anything, and we're not that far away. So this is looking to set up really well. So that kind of concludes our brief first stage of our design of this small 20 acres. Basically, all we're including here is a few spots where we can set up to do observations, but we're going to add in a couple of little kill plots that puts us in the game for bow hunting. We're going to learn so much from being able to just start hunting out here and seeing how the deer use it, and we're going to start learning and adding in a lot here with just some basic little starting points. So, theme here, access is key. Don't overpressure your property. 20 acres is not big, so any people with 5, 10, 40 acres even, that's the main key when you first buy a property. Just don't overhunt it, don't go through everything, don't walk through your food plots, basic stuff. So when we're putting these little first stages in here, we're just being really smart how we're accessing, how we're using them, and don't overuse them. Okay, let's go check out those pictures off that trail camera. I'm heading out of here, so we're gonna go to the office. We've had this camera out since June 4th, about a week after we bought the property, and just pulled the card after the first week of July. Here's what we got. Take a look.